Hello and welcome DCL fans. We're here with Lax versus JCMShadow. So, Lax is on Trick of Eye. They're down 0-3 versus Chrome Cabal, which is JCMShadow's team. We see a Sun versus like a more balanced approach with a double like mid-tier Terra. You'll see the Thunderous T is benched, but the Cerulege is Terra Fairy. Alright, let's just catch up to live real quick. So, Meow leads off. Goes for a Trick Room, that's new. So it's a slow Meowscarada with Sash Trick Room T-Spikes. So this is interesting for sure. Foul Play catches Cerulege. That's a great thing. And then the speed boost for Trick Room. Why did we click Trick Room? I don't know. That's so funny though. Foul Play does get the Toxcorp activated here. And Sub is going to, bait on an Overheat. Yeah, so this gliscor is going to be able to guarantee a Sub versus his Ninetales eventually. Gets Encored, so this Ninetales putting in overtime. Got 80% chip on the Cerulege, brought the Meowscarada down to Sash, and the gliscor is Encored into Substitute, giving yourself a free spin, because Cerulege is probably not going to be able to spin block this, because it dies next turn. But maybe you're using this as a pivot, go back into Gliscor, that makes sense. Alright, some good plays to make up for the rampage that Ninetales just went on. Those are Protect, so this is Sub-Protect, probably trying to take advantage of the T-Spikes as long as possible, but the T-Spikes are now gone, thanks to the Rapid Spin, but with that Earthquake chip, now this Great Tusk is very low. This is really good for the Cerulege, but again, it is at 20%. It goes for the Sub, just says, you will not have Ice Spinner, and if you do, I'll live it. Fair enough. So Gliscor protecting, and then this Walking Wake, Hydro Steam. It's probably choiced on a team like this, so it gets the Toxic off. Maybe you're not relying on T-Spikes then. Aha! So it is Toxic Protect. Just definitely going to see a Protect here. If JCM wants to switch on this, he's more than welcome to. Does not see a Protect, goes to Slowking, and it is probably Spadef. I think AV would take a little bit less, but maybe it's Specs versus AV. It's hard to tell. We'll probably tell by the move Slowking picks. I would assume versus Sun you want Spadef with Chilly Reception to cancel out the Sun, but maybe it's AV just to take hits better. We'll see. Roaring Moon comes out as Toxic Spikes go up again. We got two T-Spike setters, so Lax has decided JCM's team is way too weak to T-Spikes and he has to take advantage of it. Alright, Roaring Moon does come in though. Gliscor does already have its Toxcorp activated, it's at full, so it could come in here. If the Tinkaton is like Air Balloon or something like that, it could also come in here. I feel like a knockoff is probably getting clicked though, so maybe if it's Pickpocket Tinkaton, it could steal the Roaring Moon's item here. That's something that could happen. Meowscarada is going to be in on a sack, but we know this Meowscarada is slower than base 100s because it was slower than the Ninetales in Trick Room, right? Let me make sure I'm remembering that correctly. Yeah, it was slower in Trick Room, so this could be slower than the Jirachi. We'll just have to see. It does switch out respecting that, and it is Balloon Tinkaton, which gets broken by Icy Wind. Icy Wind predicting the Gliscor pivot, potentially. It's a nice move, but now Tinkaton is in, and I fear the rocks are going up. Now with rocks up and T-Spikes, it's going to be a tough time for JCM to deal with this. Yeah. And it should be noted that if JCM wins, he clinches at least a tie for his team. But 3-0 up, you know, we're looking for more than just a tie here. So we're really trying to win the series in the next 2 games if you're on JCMShadow's team. But Lax is definitely going to make this difficult, right? This is so difficult. I assume the rocks are going up. Meteor Beam comes out. Sure. Yeah, rocks are just going up. Probably wants to use up the item before it gets knocked off. He probably expected a knock in his head. But honestly, rocks are just going to happen. But the Psyshock is going to 2-hit KO. T-Wave does come out. So, yeah. Encore, and then you do potentially get a Meowscarada turn here with the Encored Jirachi. He wanted to use up the Meteor Herb, or the Power Herb Meteor Beam before he got knocked off, but now Now he's successfully weakened the Tinkaton. This is a big deal for Roaring Moon, but it is going to get T-spiked, because you have to imagine the Sterilege is going to be reserved to block the Rapid Spin from Great Tusk, so these T-spikes are here to stay. Alright. Does JCM predict the Meowscarada here? I feel like he doesn't really have a whole lot that can really do much against it, right? What would you do? You go Ninetales? Is it Boots? I don't think we've revealed Boots, or... Was it Heat Rock? Let me check. It was not Heat Rock, so it's probably Boots. So Ninetales could come in if you wanted to kind of cover the Meowscarada pivot that's like kind of obvious. Roaring Moon does come in. And it's Lumberry, so one time switch into the T-Spikes. It is going to definitely outspeed this Meowscarada if the Ninetales was outspeeding it, and just goes for a knockoff, so yeah. JCM does play proactively around the Meowscarada, as expected. Now Gliscor comes in, and we're probably just going to see an Earthquake here if I had to guess. It seems pretty free to me. It's going to do a lot of damage to Roaring Moon. Although a Toxic is a fair click, of course. You could also sub. Sub is also fine. I don't really hate any move Gliscor goes for here, to be honest. All of them seem pretty good. Sub would kind of cover a Roaring Moon switch out into Walking Wake, potentially. Jirachi. And he goes for Toxic, so JCM gets that correct. However, Gliscor can just sub on this, fish for full paras, right? Because sub and protect will always bring you back to full. So he's not really losing too much HP, and JCM tries to predict the protect there. Lax wasn't really forced to go for it yet, though. And there's the para, so this Gliscor is looking very threatening. Yeah, this is tough. This Roaring Moon is going to take an Earthquake. 39, that's a 2-hit KO. Probably not going to mess around with Protect. He does mess around with Protect. I probably would have said just Earthquake there is fine, but I was more thinking playing around Roost Roaring Moon, but maybe that's a little bit devious from my end. Just sub Protect, guarantee a sub up. I think that's also quite fine. Versus the Lilligant here. I guess the main concern is if it's Quiver Dance with Rest Chesto. Not Quiver Dance, the Victory Dance. Yeah, triple Axle, right. I forgot about that. So it would have gone through the sub, so that's why he switched. Blastoise comes in. Yeah. And Lilligant goes for the triple Axle. Now, is this Blastoise Rindo Berry? It could be. Goes for Fake Out. So Fake Out, that probably implies Assault Vest, because what else are you doing running Fake Out, right? Yeah. Anyways, we're just going to see a Sterilege sack here. There's literally no other play that Lax can even consider for a second, to be honest. So, yeah. I'd be incredibly shocked if we didn't see a Sterilege sack here. He's in the chat saying if it rests, then he loses, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any rest Great Tusks here today. Alright. I guess if he does have Aqua Jet, he could go for it, but in the chat, he's kind of alluding to the fact that he does not have Aqua Jet, so this is going to cost a Sterilege, but the hazards are going to stay up. And there we go. Boom. And the Great Tusk is down. T-Spikes are up. The only way to remove the T-Spikes is by tearing the Walking Wake. But I don't know how likely that is when the Lilligant kind of needs to be Terra Ground to break through the Slowking Galar. And JCM loses to Timer. Shout out. He was not winning this one anyways. Let's keep it real, folks. This Gliscor is way too much of a Giga Threat. T-Spikes up, yeah. Then with Fake Out, Protect, everything's getting chipped, bro. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.